Hey everybody, welcome to day 10 of Let's Write a Novel Together. This is very exciting and nerve-wracking for me. I feel like I'm really putting myself on the line here and showing you my process about writing a novel. I'm starting a new one and I am working my way through Story Genius by Lisa Cron, which for me is the best way I've found certainly to get into my story, to find the story that I want to write. And I want to share that with you, because what I've noticed with the students that I work with is, because I'm working with first-time novelists, they do not yet know that they have to work out a process for themselves and do not yet trust that they do have a process because they've not been through it yet. And I want to be the example that shows you, let me just shut the door. I want to be the example that shows you that a process takes time and you have to write a few books before you understand what your process is and you begin to recognize, oh yeah, I always get fed up with the story at this point in time. I always get to 3/4 of the way through and then I hate the book and I wonder why I ever started it. But I know that by the time I get to 95% in the book, I'm back in love with it and I can't wait to get started, to push through to the end. So each of us have stages and phases and processes for the writing that we do. And I also want you to see, because you'll see me go through a lot of inconsistency with this process. I will change my ideas as I go along. I'll get to know my story and my character better and things will change. Equally, my characters will come in more to life and they will tell me what changes need to be made and what they want to do and how things are going to go. So I wanted to be the example of showing you that being an artist is not a fixed it's not a fixed A, B, C, D. This isn't a spreadsheet. You are an individual, a human with emotions, inconsistencies. You've got things going on in life. Your ideas are always playing in your head. So everything is always changing. And I want to exemplify that for you so that when you realize that you've changed your mind about something, that's okay. That said, I do want to help you understand it's really good to solidify a few things at the beginning, because that's going to help you understand the story that you're writing and stop you doing that thing, which I see a lot, which is, well, my story could go here, my story could go here, it could go here. I've gotten to the 33% mark, but now I'm going to go back to the beginning and change it because I think this would be a better idea. And that kind of toing and froing, that changing the whole kind of path of the book, the plot of the book, the story of the book, that comes when you don't know why you're writing the book. You don't know enough about your character. You don't know what the message is for your book or the theme for your book is. And these are things that we don't really think about when we're writing our first book, because we're thinking about the plot, got to get the plot right. Because we're still learning those kind of basics, those fundamentals of storytelling. But with this, with Lisa Cron's Story Genius, I think you get to delve deeper and really cement in some key aspects of your novel before you start writing. And that is going to help you stop doing that thing where you just keep changing the plot every 5 chapters. So it has many, many advantages, and I want to go through that with you. So we are, let me do the YouTube thing. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the bell so that you get any updates and new releases, either about this or about any interviews I've got coming out, because there's always something fun on the horizon. Okay, so we have looked at day 8 was about identifying what your character's misbelief is. If you haven't seen that, go back to day 8. Yesterday was identifying the moment that your character had this misbelief. Go back to day 9 if you haven't watched that, because I give some good examples of just how small that moment can be in a person's life that really internalizes a self-belief or a belief about the world, which doesn't necessarily serve the person who has that belief. So day 8 and 9 are good to go back and look at. Day 10, I resisted. I resisted doing this, and then I thought, I can't. If I'm going to tell you guys to do this and the process to go through and to follow Lisa's example, I've got to do it myself. So day 10 is it is looking at, essentially it's looking at scene structure, which is something I love. I love scene structure. And essentially this is what the next step in Lisa Cron's book is. It's looking at story structure. She phrases it slightly differently, or she asks the questions differently to kind of having this, what you could see as a formula or a set of guidelines for scene structure. I prefer the guidelines, but I think this, I think these are really good questions to ask. So you've come up with the misbelief, you've come up with the moment of the misbelief. And now Lisa's asking us to think more deeply about that moment. So we're not writing anything, we're not writing the scene yet. We're just thinking more deeply about what this scene could look like. And so she's asking us 3 questions in this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 questions in this. And the first question is, what does my protagonist go into the scene believing? So the reason that this is important is because this is we're thinking about the origin scene here. We're thinking about the moment your character changed the way that they see themselves or the way that they see the world. So in order to do that, something has to change. So what is the thing that is going to change? What is the view of the self or the view of the world that is about to change? Because we all have to start, we need that starting point. So she's asking, what does your protagonist go into the scene believing? You've already identified the misbelief that your protagonist will struggle with throughout the novel. The question is, what existing belief did it topple? So that can be an interesting one. Certainly for my character, it was that the world was a safe place. She lives in a small town. She knows everybody. This is, there's less than 2,000 people in this town. Everybody knows everybody, more or less, certainly by face, if not by name. And it feels really, really safe. So she's got nothing to be scared of in this world. And this feeds into the second question, actually, which is, why does your protagonist believe it? So the question is, what specifically instilled your protagonist's old belief? And for my character, Ashley, it's that when she was little, she was quite little, maybe 5, she was walking home from, I can't remember now if I put school or from a friend's house. I think it was school, but she took a wrong turn and she got lost. And she got a little bit panicked, and then an adult man stopped her and said, "Oh, you look upset, are you okay? Do you know where you're going?" And he walked her home and she got home safely. And just a nice person helping out someone who lives in their town. And this instilled in her this belief, wow, that was really nice of that person. I live in such a great place. I live in such a safe place. This is marvelous. So that is the moment that instilled that belief for her. What was it for your character? Can you remember? Can you come up with an idea? The third question, I'm going to put these in the description as well, so you've got them, but I totally recommend you going out and buying this or getting it from the library, or getting, maybe not the audio, have the audio as a companion, but have the words there so you can refer back to them, have the text. So I do recommend that you buy it. What is my protagonist's goal in the scene? So in this origin scene where your character comes to shift their worldview, what are they trying to do in that scene? Now, this is an important question because every scene that you write needs to have a goal, every scene. So in this particular origin scene, what is your protagonist's goal in that scene? So the origin scene for my character Ashley is the night that she's attacked. Her goal in the scene is really, really simple. She's just going to go from the pub. She's going to go home. She's probably going to have some toast and a cup of tea, and then she's going to go to bed. So that's all it is. She's had a fun night. She's tired. She's ready to go home, chill out, put some food in her tummy because she's been drinking, and then go to bed, and then meet her friends the next day, and they're going to laugh about the night before. So that's her goal. Really, really simple. What is the goal for your character in this scene? And then the fourth question that Lisa asks us is, what does my protagonist expect will happen in the scene? So we might want something to happen And we have, what did she say? Regardless of what we humans want to happen, we go into every situation with a clear set of expectations of what we think will happen. How else could we gauge the meaning of what does happen? So what does your character expect will happen? This one I find a little bit ambiguous, this question. And I find it hard to entirely differentiate between what's the protagonist's goal and what do they expect will happen. But maybe that's the type of story that I'm writing. So it could be that you're writing a spy story, and your spy, what they want to happen in a meeting that they're going into with the baddie, what they want the baddie to do is put their hands up and say, I surrender, and I'll come quietly. But your character might want that to happen, but they don't expect that to happen. What they expect is the baddie to put up some, they expect the baddie to put up a, what's the word I'm looking for? Will stick up for themselves, basically, and they'll put up resistance. They'll resist being caught by your spy who wants to bring them in. So they have to kind of know what they expect to happen and be prepared for that. If you are writing a romance story, for example, you might be doing a friends to a enemies to lovers story. So maybe your character goes into a scene expecting or wanting to get one up on the person that they don't like. That's what they want, but they expect the other person to have something nasty to say about them too. So it's a subtle, I think it's a subtle difference. I'm not sure I'm totally with Lisa on this one, but we're doing her story genius, so we're going to go with it. So think about these questions for your own character, and you see how you feel about these questions as well. Go do them like I've done, even though I'm not 100% sure on that fourth one. Do go through them as an exercise so that you can experience them for yourselves and make up your own mind about how you think about it, and how possibly in the future you may tweak it slightly. But these 4 questions, these are questions that you will come back to again and again and again, because this is how Lisa is kind of structuring her scenes. This is how she chooses to approach scene structure. And she does say herself at the end, you will use these for every scene. Yeah, she says it's good practice because this is something you'll want to do before you write any scene. And I 100% agree. You want to know why you're writing a scene, and what the goal of that scene is, and what's getting in the way of that goal. So this is how we create the conflict in every single scene that we write. And it's that conflict that makes the scene interesting and that makes your reader kind of want to know, how's this going to turn out? What's this character going to do? How are they going to resolve this conflict? And that keeps them going to the end of the scene. All right, let me know in the description below or in the comments below how you found this exercise. What did you come up with for your character? And what do you think about the 4 questions that Lisa Cron is asking? Do they resonate with you? Would you tweak them a little? Have you read another craft book that asks it in a slightly different way that you prefer? Do let me know in the comments below, and I will see you next time. All right, bye.